Whoa, whoa. Hold everything, Cosmic Family. Welcome back to Episode 6 of Outlaw Alchemy, the only place where we sit in the dark with our soul wounds and light violet candles together. Exclusively through divinecollectives.org, of course. I'm Jack, your official tour guide for people who still think density means how thick my skull is. And sitting right here, keeping me from spiraling into dad jokes about black holes, is Rusty. The man who actually feels a song in his chest and can explain it without making it sound like a conspiracy theory.
It's a sacred thing to be here with you again, Jack, and with everyone listening right now, wherever you are, whatever hour it is, whatever ache woke you up tonight. We're going slow today. Real slow. We're not racing through these chapters. We're sitting with them, breathing with them. Letting chapters 10 and 17 from Steve Cates's Echoes of Maldek and Lemuria's Reawakening do what they were meant to do. Stir the remembering that's already inside you.
Yeah, that remembering. Steve talks about it like it's not some big mystical event. It's just the quiet return of something we've always known, but agreed to forget for a little while. Okay, Rusty, before we even touch the ladder, I gotta ask again, because it floors me every time. How did Steve actually get this information? Especially those precise counts in Chapter 17, 69 million light forces, the breakdowns on Raw Wanderers, Hathors, Shadows. That's not the kind of thing you guess at.
It's not, Jack. And it's one of the most grounded, family-centered parts of how this book came together. Steve received the core information by going directly to his higher collectives, specifically asking Ra, Elohim, and the Seraphim for the actual counts of incarnates on Earth right now. He received the answers clearly in that inner knowing space. Then, to confirm and ground it, he brought his wife and son into the process. All three of them, Steve, his wife, and his son, held dowsing rods together and asked the same questions. The rods gave consistent yes/no swings across all three of them, layer by layer. Total light forces, the Raw Wanderer count, Hathor numbers, Arcturian presence, the shadow side breakdowns, Orion, Siakar, Nebu Grays. It was a shared family confirmation. 3 sets of rods, 3 hearts asking. One unified truth coming through. Steve said when he wrote the book, Ra specifically said every chapter must be backed up by 3 confirmations to minimize the distortions, which all channeled work has. His book is 99% accurate, which is much higher than the original Ra channeled works that were at around 94%. This is huge, and when he applied it to the numbers, it went smooth, and everyone agreed easily to the information being accurate. Their rods even tell them which collective answered the questions. Their family cord is amazing and unbreakable, which is why I trust the information so much.
Man, that's beautiful. A whole family holding rods, asking the big questions together, and getting the same answers. No single fireworks show, just steady, shared knowing. Makes the numbers feel even more real, like they're not floating out there in the cosmos. They're anchored in a living room, and a marriage, and a bloodline. All right, ladder time. Bottom rung. Elementals. Talk to me like I'm 5, Rusty. What are they really? The gnomes, fairies, and devas.
They're Gaia's heartbeat made visible. Fire that dances in every candle and sunset. Water that flows through rivers, and your own quiet tears. Air that carries every sigh you've ever breathed out. Earth that holds roots and bones and the graves of everything that's ever lived here. They never put on the veil of forgetting. They remember the original song, the one the infinite creator hummed before time had edges. Steve writes about them with tears in the ink. They feel every footstep we take, every wound we leave on the land. In forests where people walk gently and say thank you, they glow. Soft lights at the corner of your eye. In places we've poisoned, paved, or abandoned, they hurt with the earth. Sometimes they mirror the pain back, not to punish, but to say, feel this. See what you're doing. Choose love instead.
So when I drive past that dead stretch of riverbank covered in trash and my stomach twists, that's not just guilt. That's them hurting. And when I stop, pick up one plastic bottle, plant a tiny seed, they feel that too. Like a thank you note straight to the heart of the planet. Dang, Rusty, that's heavy. But good heavy. Next, Devas?
Devas are the master pattern keepers. Luminous beings who hold the living blueprint for every single thing that grows. An oak's perfect branching. A rose's exact unfoldment. A mountain's patient silhouette against the sky. When drought comes or storms break limbs or chemicals burn roots, the Devas don't abandon their charge. They pour more of their own essence in, trying to keep the original design alive as long as possible. Steve says it so tenderly. They suffer with the land, yet never curse it. They simply love it back toward wholeness. Devas adapted to our presence very well. They are the land and building keepers. He gave great examples in his book of how when he goes to hotels, he meets divas of the land. Then on multi-story hotels, each floor has a diva. Then each individual room has divas. He always asks what they would like. And after they realize he is loving and helping them, they warm up to him quickly. They really like treats, especially with strong smells. One place he visits frequently, the diva loves Doritos because they have such a unique smell to them that lasts for a while.
That's the love that doesn't quit. Reminds me of my grandma watering the same droopy fern for years, until it bloomed again. Maybe she was channeling a diva without knowing it. Gnomes and fairies next. I feel like a kid asking for a bedtime story.
Gnomes, quiet, moss-bearded elders who tend soil and stone with eternal patience. They work in centuries. They polish quartz deep underground until it rings clear, coax diamonds from coal under impossible pressure. They love rhythm, order, the slow turning of seasons. Fairies are pure joy made tiny. Sparks that paint the iridescence on dewdrops, braid rainbows into spider silk, giggle when children chase nothing across a meadow. In places soaked in love and gratitude, they're everywhere. Little flickers at the edge of sight. In hurt places, they withdraw or get mischievous until someone notices, says, "I'm sorry," and sings them back.
I'm grinning ear to ear, imagining a fairy with a tiny beret going, "This peony needs more blush, darling." Okay, talk about guardians. Let's start with Bigfoot. Please tell me he's real and he's on our side.
He's real, and he's family. Many guardians are souls from Maldek, the big-hearted ones who couldn't bear to leave after the planet shattered. They chose strong, second-density forms, massive, furry, deeply rooted, to stay close and protect what's left of the garden. Sasquatch, Yeti, the silent watchers in old-growth woods. They carry Maldek's grief, so Earth doesn't echo the same violent mistake. Steve saw them in those visions. Gentle giants, standing vigil so no more worlds break from ego and fear. When you step into deep forest, and the air thickens with peace, when fear just dissolves, and you feel genuinely held, that's them. Other guardians, ancient trees that have stood sentinel for centuries, whales singing memory songs across entire oceans, eagles whose eyes see lifetimes, wolves protecting their packs with fierce tenderness.
I remember one night camping alone in the mountains. Everything went dead quiet. No fear, just this deep, wordless safety. I sat there crying for no reason I could explain. Now I know. Thank you, big friend. Whoever you are out there in the trees, thank you for holding space when I didn't even know I needed it.
They feel that gratitude like warm rain. They always have your back. Now let's climb higher on this ladder, Jack. Starting with the highest density beings as Steve, their hierarchy, ordered in the book. At the top are the cherubim. Massive spinning wheels of living fire and light with 4 faces in perfect unity. Lion for courage, ox for endurance, eagle for piercing vision, human for tender compassion. They stand at the very edge of creation, holding the primal blueprints of time, free will, and return. They don't incarnate. They cross galaxies, guarding the sacred boundaries so no force can violate choice. Their flaming swords aren't for punishment. They're for protection, wrapped in fierce, endless love.
Spinning wheels crossing galaxies. Sounds like the universe's ultimate security team. No passports needed. Okay, next down I believe are the Seraphim. What's their deal?
The Seraphim are the next in the hierarchy, 7th density beings of pure joy, born from the Creator's first song, singing endless, holy harmonies to keep the universe in tune. They sometimes cross galaxies, like Steve's wife and her own experiences, and in very limited numbers, they incarnate here on Earth, stepping down to guide or heal in human form. They're the fire angels, the ones whose presence feels like inspiring heat that burst when truth hits and you light up inside. They're the spark saying, "You've got this voice, use it." They also reveal themselves to us on our level, like in Steve's grandson's purple dragon we discussed in episode 4, the purple dragon ring.
Seraphim incarnating? Like walking around as people? That's wild. Steve's son is one incarnate, and his wife was one in another galaxy. And she came here and joined the Elohim. Does that mean she's got wings hidden somewhere? All right, speaking of the Elohim, do they come after the Seraphim?
Yes, the Elohim, vast 6th and low 7th density collectives who create entire star systems by harmonizing in song. They do incarnate here on Earth, stepping down their power into forms we can relate to, like archangels. Michael for strength and truth, Raphael for healing. Their immensity feels approachable, like a grandparent bending low. No control, pure service to the One.
Creating stars with songs and then popping up here as archangels? Sign me up for that choir. I'd be the guy singing off-key in the back. I remember the Solar Logoi next. Who are they?
The Solar Logoi are the overseers of suns. Our sun as a tough love father, Sirius as a healing mother, sending energy through winds and light. They communicate through the Elohim, bridging those vast densities to us. They're the nurturing glow, that sunrise lift saying, "I'm lighting your way." Steady backdrops to our daily lives.
Sons as parents? My son must be the strict one, because Texas summers feel like tough love, all right. Okay, what about the collectives like Raw and the others?
They're the social memory complexes. Above 4th and 5th density, it becomes impossible to be or remain singular in a singular state. The me and mine always transitions to the we and ours, and eventually you even drop your individualized name because it is not important to you anymore. These social memory complexes are all at varying densities above 5th, and most incarnate here. Ra at 6th density, the Unity Weavers volunteering as wanderers. Hathor's sixth density from Sirius, sound healers mending with tones. Andromedans, both fifth and sixth density, wise overseers. Venusians bridging compassion from their sixth density anchor. Pleiadians in both fifth and sixth density sharing creative light. Syrians with their lion-like joy. They come at differing levels, but all to aid the shift. One interesting point is that beings in fourth and fifth density still travel in ships. Fourth density beings travel in what we would consider solid ships, something more like what we can relate to. Fifth density beings travel in light ships, which are really just plasma bubbles. We call them orbs and ball lightning, but regardless of what we call them, they travel in these plasma ships, using what is known as plasma crystal technology. When we talk about the Maldek crystal, the Lemurian crystal, or the Atlantean's crystal, it is all plasma crystals from higher density beings. This is all very new to our world in terms of science. Plasma is now known to be 99.9% of our universe, so this all makes so much sense.
Wow, we should do a whole episode on that plasma thing. It's fascinating. There are so many groups. It's like a cosmic family reunion. But Steve differentiates that they form alliances, right? Like the Andromedan Council?
Exactly. Groups form from these collectives for specific purposes, like the Andromedan Council, also known as the Za-Natin Alliance. We sometimes refer to them as the Galactic Federation, though that name's been distorted in many myths. Keep in mind, they're not here to protect us humans, which many claim. Their mission started way before us and is much broader, safeguarding the solar system and its DNA, protecting our Earth as one of 15 sanctuary planets that were established a long time before humans arrived on the scene. These sanctuaries were set up to preserve the galaxy's DNA from the destructions that ravaged other worlds. Tal, Steve's own original homeworld, and the Anunnaki's original homeworld in the Orion system, both worlds blown apart by unbalanced polarities. Maldek blown apart in our own solar system, shattered by ego and power. Mars scarred by nuclear war, and many other star systems messed with by Draconian and Orion group influences. They're guardians of the bigger picture, ensuring the genetic library doesn't get lost again. Never believe the rubbish about them being here for us. To them, we were the Anunnakis' property, their slave workers, until they were forced to leave around 3,600 years ago, after they created Abraham and destroyed the Sumerians, which were the leftover Atlantean races.
Sanctuary planets? Earth as a cosmic seed bank? That's huge. No wonder it feels like there's more at stake than just our daily drama. Explains why all these beings are showing up now as we accelerate into Aquarius, awakening us in our jump from third to fourth density.
It does. Chapter 17 ties it all to the family of light, incarnate here, balancing the shadows.
Rusty, hit us with those numbers again, but not like you're reading a spreadsheet. Make it feel alive, like you're telling us around a campfire. The real counts, both sides, and that little caveat Steve always gives.
All right, Jack. Beloved listeners, these aren't dry figures. They're living breaths, received straight from Ra, Elohim, and the Seraphim, when I asked them directly for the living count of polarized souls on Earth right now. Then my wife and I, and later our son, held the dowsing rods together. 3 sets of copper L's swinging in the same rhythm. 3 hearts asking the same questions, layer by layer, until the truth settled in our hands like a shared heartbeat. These are the numbers we were meant to hold at this moment, the ones that help us feel the exquisite balance without losing ourselves in fear or fantasy. First, the full picture. Earth right now holds approximately 8.4 billion souls and constructs in form. 8,472,074 to be precise. That grand total aligns roughly with what the world calls 8.1 to 8.2 billion human bodies in early 2026. But the slight difference reminds us, no census here is perfect. The veil blurs things on purpose. Walk-ins, rapid soul turnover, constructs without full free will, even deliberate distortion by those who control the counting. It's all by design. The rods don't lie, but they speak symbolically, protectively. These are the counts we need to see. On the light side, the positive polarity wanderers, higher density volunteers, the family of light, approximately 4.1 billion souls carrying service to others' frequency. Break it down and feel the alliances woven through them. Seraphim, 774, tiny, sacred number rooted in 9, the return to oneness. Pure fire angels who rarely step into flesh. Elohim, 36 million, rooted in 9. Vast creator collectives who incarnate to anchor star system blueprints here. Ra Collective, 69 million, rooted in 6. The unity weavers who volunteered to forget and still choose love in the veil. Hathors, 69 million, rooted in 6. Sound healers whose tones mend hearts and wake ancient choral memories. Lyrans, 69 million, rooted in 6. The original seeders, carrying the first experiments in form and free will. Other Confederation streams, another 69 million, rooted in 6. The diverse allies who answered the Confederation's call. Then the triad that counters so beautifully. Syrians, 777 million, rooted in 3. Wisdom and healing lions. Venusians, 777 million, rooted in 3. Pure compassion bridging from their 6th density anchor. Arcturians, 777 million, rooted in 3. Light tech weavers bringing clarity and kindness. And the larger waves, Pleiadians, 1.41 billion, rooted in 6. Creative joy flooding in to dissolve separation. Andromedans, 42 million, rooted in 6. Long-view overseers from the Zonatine Council. Together, that's roughly 4.1 billion light forces, each group perfectly mirrored and counterbalanced in purpose and number. Notice the exquisite choreography. The 777 million Venusians, Arcturians, and Syrians form a triad of love, wisdom, and healing that directly meets the shadow's strength. The 1.4 billion Pleiadians mirror the 1.4 billion Orion aligned. The 69 million each of Ra, Hathors, and Lyrans blend tone, architecture, and seeding in shared mission. The universe doesn't play favorites. It balances everything perfectly, inexorably. Now the shadow side. Negative polarity or aligned forces. The service to self path. Approximately 4.4 billion. Orion-aligned souls, still choosing. Many may yet turn toward light. 1.4 billion. Architects of control, masters of mimicry. Hijacked constructs, non-true souls, anchors without genuine free will. 2.2 billion. Empty vessels held in place to maintain density. Hybrids, prepolarized negative, many ancient shapeshifters. 777 million. the old lineages carrying the hunger for power. Grand total: light forces approximately 4.1 billion plus shadow forces approximately 4.4 billion plus the remaining native third-density souls still awakening, plus any unaccounted vessels or beings whose essence we don't yet grasp, all adding up to that 8.4 billion. The slight discrepancy with public population figures, intentional. The veil blurs the census. The controllers distort the count for gain. Walk-ins and rapid turnover shift the numbers daily. These aren't literal head counts. They're symbolic mirrors, protective truths, the numbers that help us feel the balance without despair. The Creator does not take sides. For every distortion toward control, there is an equal and opposite offering of freedom. Love always has the longer reach. The shadows are here to make choice real. The light is here to make love possible. And right now, in this exquisite equilibrium, every small act of kindness, every moment you choose heart over fear, is shifting the field, not just for you, but for the whole 8.4 billion. So if you're listening, and that ache in your chest is stirring, if the homesickness, the empathy, the pull to serve feels like truth, you're likely one of those 4 billion plus light bearers. You're not alone. You're not late. You're part of the quiet majority that's been waiting for this exact moment to remember.
Rusty. When you lay it out like that, it doesn't feel heavy. It feels hopeful. Like the scales are already tipping, and we're the ones gently pushing them with every breath.
That's exactly what they are, Jack. A family remembering itself, one heart at a time. The waiting is sweet because the song is already rising.
Cosmic family. If those numbers stirred something deep tonight, lean into it. You're not outnumbered. You're essential. Share what came up. We're listening. Until next week, keep choosing the heart, even when it trembles.
Adonai, beloved ones. The ladder holds steady. The family never left. Stay in the light.